406.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your buddy Chewie, and this is the 411 from 406. Hope everybody is doing wonderfully. I'm coming at you tonight with what's going to be a relatively short episode, but an exciting episode, at least for Pip and I. As I'm sitting here recording this, it is Wednesday, May the 5th. We're a day after Star Wars Day, May the 4th. This is something that I think it's fair to say we wanted to announce yesterday, but for a variety of reasons, I wasn't able to do it. Yesterday was my youngest son's 7th birthday. I do have a Star Wars baby, which makes me one of the happiest dads out there. My wife is not super thrilled about it, but hey, she was in charge of the day that he was delivered. So, but anyway, I digress. We had a wonderful day yesterday. That's part of the reason, though, that Pip and I couldn't come to you yesterday with this announcement. So anyways, Pip had the wonderful idea of kind of announcing and teasing a little bit what our next series of episodes is going to be about. And I'm thrilled to say that we are going to take a deep dive into the sequel trilogy of the Star Wars films. So this is the episodes 7, 8, and 9. If you're not familiar with these films, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast, quite frankly. But we're going to kind of take a deep dive into episode 7, which is The Force Awakens, episode 8, which is The Last Jedi, and episode 9, which is The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know that we're going to necessarily review these films as much as we're going to really kind of take a look at the films and really kind of dissect them, look at them through the eyes of two mid-40s guys who grew up on the Star Wars universe and clearly have become enamored with it throughout our lives. We were actually planning on podcasting tomorrow night, and we had a conversation kind of about this idea that Pip had, and I just absolutely fell in love with this idea, and I'm thrilled that he came up with it. So what we're going to do is, rather than podcast tomorrow, we're actually going to take probably the next week and do some preparation, and so we're going to go back and we're going to watch the film. So we're going to start with The Force Awakens, which will be our next episode. We're going to watch the film, and I'm sure we will talk about and give it a review. But again, I think really what we're really going to kind of delve into is, how the films made us feel, our reaction to them, what how we felt at the time, how we feel coming back to these films. At this point, 6 years later, The Force Awakens came out in 2015. And really kind of start to talk about what this sequel trilogy meant. Was it a success? Could it have been a success? Those kind of things. Again, through the eyes of two 40-something guys. It's funny, as we were talking about this, I made a comment that, these films are really, especially the sequel films, are really geared towards us, right? Guys in their, I'll say fans, not guys specifically, but fans in their, I call it late 30s to mid to late 40s, who were adolescents at the age of the original trilogy. And so now this sequel trilogy was clearly targeting us. I think for a couple reasons. One, because we are the fans of the original trilogy, but presumably we have, we are raising the next generation of Star Wars fans. I have three boys aged 14, 13, and as of yesterday, 7. And, they are Star Wars fans, certainly partially because of my influence, but also, just Star Wars it's kind of ubiquitous these days, right? It's everywhere. And that wasn't always the case, right? When Pip and I were growing up, we really only had 3 films, right? We had, Star Wars, which came out in 1977. Um, Jedi, or the Empire Strikes Back, which came out in 81, I think it was. Or maybe 82. Here, let me take a look. I'll kind of take a peek at it here. And then the Empire and then Return of the Jedi, which was, I believe, 83. And uh, so Empire Strikes Back was 1980 and Jedi was 1983. And really, we didn't have another film until we went to the prequel trilogy, which again, I imagine we will get to that sometime. So that was 1999, I believe. The Phantom Menace came out. And then there was a big gap again until this sequel trilogy came out. And so I think it's, we're going to start with this sequel trilogy because I think it really does kind of put a bow on what is commonly referred to as the Skywalker saga. And especially, as we move forward into The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, I think it's going to be really interesting to have a really kind of deep conversation about what those films mean to us, because we're looking at them through the lens of fans that have grown up with the Star Wars saga, and these 3 films, this sequel trilogy, really is the end of an era. And I know that those sorts of terms are kind of thrown out there a lot, but they really are, right? They kind of put a bow on a specific piece of the Star Wars legacy and the Star Wars universe. So that's kind of where we're going. I'm not sure how quickly we're going to be able to get through it, but I think it's fair to say that the next few episodes of the podcast are going to be focusing on the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So I think it's probably a good assumption that will be at least the next 3 episodes of the podcast, or at the very least, the next 3 episodes where Pip and I get together. I tend to put one of these episodes out every now and then where it's just kind of me rambling. But I think it's fair to say that the next few times you hear Pip and I together, we're going to be focusing on the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and I'm not sure if that's going to be it will be at least 3 episodes. I think it's fair to say that we'll do at least 1 episode per film, and then we'll either wrap it up in that 3rd episode or maybe even do a 4th episode where we kind of tie everything together. I'm pumped. I really am looking forward to this. Again, I don't think these are going to be reviews so much as they are going to be conversations about the film and really kind of what they mean to us through the lens of, like I said, guys in their mid 40s. So hey, if that is interesting to you, you've got some stuff to look forward to. We would love to hear your thoughts, either in response to the episodes, or even in preparation for them. So if you have comments or questions or things that you would like us to explore or like us to talk about, feel free to leave a comment on this particular podcast. You can always get a hold of me via the website or Facebook or Twitter or what have you. But like I said, this was super exciting, and it was one of those things that we wanted to get out and get ahead of. Again, we would have liked to have done it on May the 4th, but I suppose the next day is the next best thing. So we did it on Revenge of the Fifth. So again, this is Chewie. This has been the 411 from 406. And we've got some really cool stuff coming to you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, folks.